Manchester United lost 2-0 to Wolverhampton Wanderers yesterday, and one thing has become very, very clear. If Manchester United don't sign fullbacks in the January window, particularly a player who can fill the left wing-back position, then they are in big, big trouble. Please drop a like while you're here, please subscribe for more tactical content, and be sure to stick around for the full video. So in the first half yesterday, Manchester United and Wolves lined up very, very similar. Both adopting a 5-2-3 out of possession, and both adopting a 3-2-5 when in possession. But there was a distinct difference in how Wolves and Manchester United defended against the opposition's number 10s. When Wolves were in possession, their intention was clear. It was to try and get Cunha and Guedes on the ball. How Manchester United defended these number 10s differed massively from how Wolves did it on the opposite side. When in possession, Cunha and Guedes would drop, but Lenny Yoro and Martinez would be the ones going out and trying to deny that space. Effectively, Manchester United were sending their two wide centre-backs out to mark the two number 10s. And this caused some issues in that when Yoro and Martinez went out, if there was a failure in the duel or Cunha or Guedes were allowed to turn and create space, it would create huge distances between Maguire and Mazraoui or Martinez and Dalot on the opposite side. We can see here the distances are huge and Yoro begins chasing Cunha, at which point he receives a yellow card. The setup on the opposite side was the same in that Guedes would drop deep, drag the wide centre-back in Martinez out of position, and this opened up a variety of options for Wolves. If it could turn Martinez, there'd be spacing behind as a huge void had been created, or the two 10s in Guedes and Cunha could play quick combinations with the deeper players, who could then release Larsson, who could run into that free space that had been vacated from the wide centre-backs. It worked very well for Wolves in that they could isolate Larsson 1v1 with Maguire, Aït-Nouri against Mazraoui, but more important for Wolves was that yellow card early doors from Yoro. That meant Cunha could try and turn and intentionally try and put himself in positions which we can see now on screen where Yoro would potentially commit a foul. Now, the way Wolves would defend the number 10s on the opposite side was a very evident and clear picture of how opposition teams are now exploiting Manchester United. They know that the fullbacks, particularly Dalot, offers very little in an attacking sense. And what we're seeing Wolves do was, Fernandes would drop deep, the same as Cunha and Guedes would on the other side, but instead of Wolves' wide centre-backs in Doherty and Totti following them into their positions and creating and avoiding these spaces, they would send Nelson Semedo or Aït-Nouri into these positions, which allowed them to do two things. Firstly, it allowed them to maintain a solid defensive structure, particularly in the central areas, with that back three staying completely aligned. But secondly, and more importantly, it would bait Manchester United into playing long balls into Diogo Dalot, who would more often than not lose the duel against the right centre-half Doherty. Now, despite being confident that Totti and Doherty would win most of the duels against Dalot and Mazraoui, there was moments in the game where Wolves were completely aware that Dalot and Mazraoui on the opposite side would get free space and be 1v1. But this is the issue that Manchester United are facing, in that opposition teams are now happy for the wing-backs to have the ball 1v1 in wide areas because of their inability to create chances from 1v1 situations. And the biggest issue that United are facing with that lack of creativity on the left-hand side in Diogo Dalot is that he's often finding himself in really good positions 1v1 on that left hand side, which we're now showing on screen, but more often than not Dalot will come back inside and look to play safe passes back into Bruno Fernandes. Now, Diogo Dalot is naturally a right foot player playing at left wing back. However, the amount of space that's available and being offered to him, especially on the outside, to get into them half spaces and put crosses into the box to Højlund, Diallo, Mazraoui at the opposite side, or midfield runners like Mainu, he should be taking up these opportunities. But as mentioned, more often than not, Dalot is turning down the opportunities to get into them wide spaces 1v1 and put crosses into the box, and he's coming back inside to Fernandes. And this is a big issue for Manchester United, in that they're getting into very good attacking spaces, and the wing-backs in particular are at fault for breaking down the attacks. Now, the most frustrating one yesterday in this situation comes in the second half early when Bruno Fernandes receives a red card. If we show on screen now the space that Diogo Dalot has 1v1 to go on the outside, and again opts to come inside, play that pass to Bruno Fernandes, and within 5 seconds Fernandes has committed a foul, is shown a second yellow card, and Manchester United are down to 10 men. The space available on that left hand side for Dalot to go and run into, it's incomprehensible that he's turning down the opportunity to do so, and Manchester United have major problems in these areas. Now, the very few moments in the game where Dalot does choose to go 1v1 and drive at the wing backs, or in this case the right centre back, teams are finding it super easy to block crosses, regain possession and nullify United's attacks, as can be seen on screen now from this clip where Dalot goes 1v1 with Doherty, and Doherty finds it super easy to block the cross and allow Wolves to get set up again in the defensive structure. Now, it's very clear that Ait Nouri is a very good left wing back, not the best in the league, but Wolves having that natural left-footed left wing back who's direct, wants to get 1v1 with the opposition wing back or full back and beat him and drive into them spaces to put crosses into the box. You can see the difference in what he offers Wolves in comparison to what Diogo Dalot and Mazraoui on the opposite side are offering Manchester United. In almost every opportunity where Ait Nouri is 1v1 with the fullback, there's one clear intention. It's to go outside, drive down the line and get crosses into the box, or to come inside and play combinations with Cunha but make secondary runs off the back of them passes into the box and attack them spaces. In more simplistic and clear terms, everything that Ait Nouri and Semedo do from an attacking perspective shows a directness to their attack, a willingness to want to go and beat their opposition fullback or wingback 1v1 and create goal-scoring opportunities for Larson, Cunha and Guedes. So Manchester United have clear issues in the wing-back areas, and the biggest issue we're seeing is that at Sporting, Ruben Amorim like to use at least one winger, natural wide player in them two wing-backs positions to offer Sporting a little bit more balance. At United, he's been forced to use full-backs in them wing-back positions, and it's very evident in our lack of creativity, particularly in them wide areas. Teams are now starting to exploit it by allowing Dalot and Mazraoui to have that free space on the outside, knowing that their inability to create chances for United will ultimately result in opportunities for them to go on and win the game. And Wolves aren't the first team to start exploiting United's lack of creativity in them wing-back areas. We've seen the same from Tottenham when they pushed 3 forward players on United's 3 centre-backs, created a 3v2 in midfield, but allowed free space for United's wing-backs in them wide areas. They were the outball for United, and that's where the space was at. But ultimately, Tottenham were happy to allow United's wing-backs to have that space and get on the ball because of their lack of creativity and inability to play good forward passes, good forward combinations, or create chances through good dribbles in 1v1 situations. For me, United's priority in this January transfer window is at left wing-back and also at right wing-back. And if United do not sign players to fill these positions, I have a feeling that Manchester United, under Ruben Amorim in this specific 3-2-5 system, are going to be in big trouble in the second half of the season. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, please like and drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts about United's wing-backs and priority signings they must make in January.